Preparing to live stream this meeting.
Cool.
Welcome
Preparing
and
to live stream this
happy.
meeting.
What day is it today? It is
The
Tuesday.
9th.
No, it is
It's
Tuesday.
Monday.
It's Monday. Damn it! I've lost track of my days. Coronavirus and the pandemic got me all twisted and sideways. But hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the song that changed my life. My name is Emma G. I'm a full-time musician, singer, songwriter here in Washington, D.C., originally from New Zealand, which you can tell from my non-DC accent. But I have been, doing all the things and a bunch of cupcakes since the pandemic erupted across the globe. And one of the things that I've recently learned is just how powerful the art of songwriting has been in my life, not just for myself, but also for the world around me and my little community of humans that listen to me. So I thought, well, what a great concept for a new podcast series to talk to songwriters from not just DC, but around the world about their songs that changed their lives. And tonight, of course, for the first episode, we have all the way from Washington, D.C. I believe you're in D.C., right? You're not in Virginia.
I'm a little bit south, but I say DC all the time.
Oh, I see how it goes.
I know DC people hate that, but I do that, so sorry.
Are you on the metro line? Like, is that what happens? Like,
It's just easy for out of towners and people from other countries. I always say I'm just south of DC because it's easier than Virginia. They picture somewhere else.
oh, valid, especially this year. But no, all the way from kind of DC, kind of Virginia, kind of wherever you want to pretend that he is. We've got Mason Shelby of Catscan with an exclamation point. Now, I am super curious about your name before we even get started in the songwriting thing. Have you guys, like, do you have a history with medical trauma that has reduced, like, meant that you've needed to get multiple CAT scans? Because I've had a zillion of the suckers. So.
Oh yeah, I've had actually did get one, but it was pretty recent. We named the band. We've been in the band for a long time, almost 20 years now. Actually, literally 20 years now, and we came up with the name when we were kids. I think we just thought, A, we liked cats a lot, and B, we just thought we thought what a CAT scan was a medical procedure to look at your brain and see if maybe you were insane or anything. So that's why we thought it was a cool band name, but we were wrong, and we just feel stuck with it now.
Oh, I love it. So, okay, valid. I'm yet to deduce whether or not I'm insane from the millions of brain activity that CAT scans that I've had. But cool. That's
Yeah.
let's get into it. Now, the song that you specifically wanted to share with me and my audience tonight is a song called "Safe to Dance in the Dark."
Yes.
Now, I generally living in DC, people like to hear my accent for some reason, but I don't feel like it has the right intonation for your message. So, could I be so bold as to ask you to, like, I don't know, recite the lyrics for us?
Yeah. Sure.
Is that weird? I don't know.
No, I'll give it a shot, and we'll see if it's weird.
I believe in you.
Okay.
You can do this.
Okay. It's safe. Safe as a walk in the park. It's safe for me to disembark. It's safe to dance in the dark. That's the hook. That should get you there.
Okay.
I mean, do you want me to do more?
I mean, we can. I mean, that is the hook. But I don't know. I feel like, I mean, there's some really beautiful images that you have painted with your lyrics here. Like, I am free as I want to be. No one's going to judge me. No one's going to even see. I can move and really feel the groove. Damn, that groove is so smooth. Free to feel my own truth.
It sounds good when you say it.
I told you, this is like the curse of having the Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated by this song because, for me, I always resonate towards lyrics that are relatively ambiguous in terms of, you can relate to it in so many ways. And, my audience knows that I come from a very my history is very traumatic around brain surgery and sexual assault and being in abusive relationships and things. So for me, this song kind of tells me about like it's okay to move on and heal from this. But I'm really curious, what was the motivation behind you specifically writing Safe to Dance in the Dark?
Well, there's a lot of things that go into it, but a lot of it comes from wanting to do a song that was very direct and straightforward and truthful. We are big fans of bands like the Dead Kennedys or Ween or those kind of bands that are kind of smart asses, and we like to be smart asses too. It's fun to write satirical stuff, but I was just trying to do something that was actually from the heart and direct. We recorded this EP kind of in isolation in quarantine, and it just felt appropriate to do something that was a bit more straightforward, or like I said, more sincere.
Right. So what are the messages you're trying to convey? Like where did the song come from?
Well, it does have the very literal meaning of the feeling that you get when you are able to really let go and dance and feel free, and you can get that feeling in the right circumstances in a dark club, with the right type of music. It's not really easy for me to let loose that way. So when you can get there, it's a great feeling. But I think there's also it's just a way of kind of embracing yourself and trying to find that place to let go and to be open and free, even outside of the context of that actual metaphor.
Yeah. No, I actually saw the Dead Kennedys were the first or the last concert I saw before quarantine.
Oh wow!
So I love that you brought that up. And
like the reformed one without Jello.
Yes. And they were super political. They totally played Too Drunk to Fuck, and I was very happy with
Yeah.
my life choices. Um, but so like I can totally understand, like from at least this is how I'm projecting. They being able to go from that satirical happy-go-lucky, I don't give a fuck about anybody and how everybody sees me, to actually realizing, oh, but I kind of do.
Yeah.
And like when you're in the mosh pit, for example, that's an example of when you can really let loose because nobody's really watching each other. They're just moving and swaying and jumping and kicking and punching and having a ball.
Right.
But is that something that you've struggled with? Is like going from that, trying to figure out, okay, this is who I am as a performer, as a musician, as a participant in the mosh pit, as somebody who crowd surfs, whatever it is you do, to then like being alone with your thoughts and going, oh, okay, here I am.
Yeah, I think I just have, I'm a pretty reserved, shy person generally. So when I do go and perform, I have to put on, I like to literally put on masks when I can have an excuse to do that. But
Okay. So COVID
even
got you down at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So even it's just an unusual approach for me. And I thought that would make it more special, and that's why I feel special. That's why I feel a special connection to this song, because it's unusual for me to take that approach.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I love it. So what was your songwriting process? How did you go from the concept of, did you start with a title? Do you start with a melody? Like, how did you write this song in particular?
Yeah, this song, every song's a little different. So this is not always the process, but this one actually had an interesting story. That's another reason why I picked it. We were trying to figure out what to do for New Year's Eve, a couple of years ago. And I had this idea to have a bunch of friends over and just kind of do a bunch of improvisational jams. And so I've done that, I think 2 or 3 years. And I just have all these kind of raw recordings of me and friends from other bands, and sometimes friends from my own band come. And this was one of those recordings. And, it just was kind of like a messy guitar riff around like a drum loop that was going. But I listened to it and I was like, there's something in there. And I was just kind of kicking it around. And, I also have some like more straightforward electronic dance kind of project stuff going on. with my friend Eric Randall in this we call the group Red Channel, and I was kicking around this track as a possible Red Channel song.
Okay.
But when we were putting together this new Catscan EP in quarantine, it just felt like appropriate to bring it to this project, and I think that the fact that it was different than my usual thing made it a more significant selection for this band. And this is my most popular project, so I just thought it would make sense to work it into it.
Nice. So when you say it's the most popular, like you've already shared it with your audience, and I mean, obviously your album came out in December, but it doesn't have this song on it. So how?
Oh yeah. I mean, I meant that Catscan is the most popular group that I'm in. It's got the most history and the most people that are paying attention to it. So I feel like the right platform for it.
Right. So have your fans heard this song yet?
I think so. I mean, we released this new EP, which is called Funny Dog Picture. And it has 3 songs that each of us wrote, and we recorded on each other's tracks. And we did release it back in September, but you know, it's a much more minor release. We're not printing CDs, or we're not having an album release show, and so I think maybe fewer people have heard it.
Fair enough. Are you are you looking at maybe releasing CDs and going back to the old school of, you know, buy a disc online and I will post it to you with a postcard and a signed letter or something?
Yeah, well, our last record is like that, but we just thought this was more of a minor, you know, kind of a minor release. We sort of think that way, that we have these kind of personal releases that are smaller and meant to be not as permanent as the major albums that we do. So this was sort of more of an esoteric project, and so we expect less people to hear it, but I think it's still significant for me.
For sure. I mean, vulnerability is always significant, I think.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest breakthrough you had when you wrote Safe to Dance in the Dark?
Well, I think once...
Like a personal aha moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think I spent a long time on the drums on this track because I was trying to figure out what the vibe of it was supposed to be. I originally had something a lot more kind of like techno-y, and then I had something that was a little bit more like a punk rock kind of tune. And then I kind of was like, what if it was more like a, you know, almost like a Bowie track or like a James Murphy kind of thing? And that was sort of like, oh yeah, duh. It made sense because that guy is, I mean, especially I've kind of recently come around to James Murphy. I thought he was kind of a hipster douche, but I kind of finally was like, actually, I get where he's coming from. He does a lot of referential stuff, and you can tell a lot of his recordings are just love letters to old, you know, Kraftwerk tunes or, you know, The Fall or those kind of bands. And I was appreciative of that approach, and I just tried to kind of fold that into what I was doing, and it clicked, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I totally picking up on the David Bowie influences as well, I think. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it about this song? Oh, sorry. My next question was, have you received any feedback from friends or family about this song in specific?
Actually, not so much. I mean, I did have one friend that said that it reminded him of a Bowie track, and it's always nice when people get those references. It's like, yeah, they recognize what I was trying to do, and that's a good feeling. But I haven't heard a lot of other stuff, and I, you know, I thought maybe my bandmates might be like find it surprising that I was writing something straightforward. But we don't normally dissect each other's lyrics anyway. So maybe it's just normal par for the course. But I haven't heard a lot of feedback apart from the sounds like Bowie. Which is, I'll take that as a compliment, you know.
Oh, I mean, how can it not be? Let's be real.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you say that you guys don't dissect each other's lyrics. Do you ever co-write together, or you know, help sort of build on? I often, when I'm writing songs, I call it the skeleton, and then my old band in specific, Static Era back in New Zealand, I'd bring the skeleton and be like, right, give it clothes.
Right.
Help me tear it apart and put it back together, you know. You don't have that kind of process with your band?
It depends on the song, you know. A lot, but we do a lot of collaborative writing, especially something changed in the last album where most of it's collaborative.
Okay.
And it's the exception that we go all alone. But I just felt that on this one, I knew what I wanted it to be, and so we didn't really open that door, I think.
For sure.
And we didn't really set those rules in advance. It just happens naturally, organically. And I'm sure if Paul had come up with something and was like, this should be in it, I'd be like, yeah, let's put that in, but it just didn't happen that way.
So you guys have been together for 20 years, the same people?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we just added a third, but it's been the same kind of writing partners.
Okay. That's cool. So what makes this your life-changing song?
Well, we kind of touched on it, but I think it's really because it was such a direct and sorry, my dog's getting in my face.
We're all about the animals. I'm waiting for my cat to do the same thing. So.
It was kind of a glimpse into, like a little peek at my actual person or my soul or my real true feelings that I don't normally give. And so it felt special. And, I guess I could mention too that there's a band that I love called They Might Be Giants. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
I am.
They've been listening to them my whole life, and they have a song that means a lot to me called Whistling in the Dark, which kind of is about being yourself, I think, and not being afraid to be weird. And it's a bit different. It's about being in jail and getting hit in the head and stuff like their songs always are. But it did help instill that sense of willingness to or an embrace of a weirdness that has been with me my whole life. So it's almost like a sequel to that as well, or like a throwback to that song.
An embrace of a weirdness. That's
a
lyric. I love that. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I think there's a tendency to want to try to conform and be like other people and not stick out or make things uncomfortable. But I think sometimes if you're in an artistic space, you really should lean into those weird impulses, because that's what makes what you're doing important or special or significant to not only yourself but to others. So I feel like that's really important.
Yeah, no, I'm all about waving your freak flag proudly.
Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point, Right.
1000%, not everybody likes vanilla ice cream. Sorry to break it.
Right.
I need those chocolate swirls.
Yeah.
So tell me about Yucca Mountain, which came out in December.
Yeah, so Yucca Mountain is a record that we put out, like you said, in December. We had brought on another band member, which is exciting. We've been a duo for a long time, and our show was really built around that. And so we had to really re-architect everything to fit this third guy in and to have it be a whole different thing. And the sad part was that we were really hoping we put together this whole new live show. We did it one time at Slash Run in DC, but we didn't really get to do it anymore because of the coronavirus. So it's funny, it's a new album that came out, 10 months ago, but it's still new to us because we haven't really been able to really unleash it on the world in the way we want to. So
for sure. How are you guys finding, and I hate this word with a passion these days.
Mm-hmm.
I used to hate it because I did ballet and was told I was too muscular. And so now I just hate it for coronavirus reasons. How have you managed to pivot as a musician, as a songwriter? I mean, you've obviously... You've mentioned to me before this interview that you have a 9 to 5, but as a musician, you still want to be out there and doing your thing and spreading those crazy vibes, but those authentic vibes at the same time. How are you managing to do that in the midst of a pandemic?
Well, honestly, I mean, with the way that we kind of rebuilt the band to be a much more collaborative unit, it's really difficult to do that together now. Mm-hmm. So I've actually been more involved with other small projects, collaborating with other artists. Cool. Just as more. I just try to be as weird as I can in those situations, and it's fun. It's fun, but it's also sad that I can't be with my main team. Yeah.
Are you experimenting with any socially distant showcases or live streams or anything?
I did try it. I've tried a couple different solo things, and some to varying degrees of success. We actually we did ironically record like this. We had this 360 camera set up in this room we're in, which is my home studio that we call the Womb. And we had a 360 camera that we all played around, and we recorded, I think, 6 or 7 songs. And we did that before the virus hit. So we've been kind of putting that around, and it seems to be on par with what other people are doing, but we haven't really gotten together or done anything else too significant as far as live streams goes, which is a shame because, like I said, we kind of worked out the mechanics of it, but just for health reasons, it's just doesn't make sense for us right now.
Yeah, no, valid. Well, thank you, man. You've been a breath of fresh air, and what a way to start this podcast series. Is there anything else that you want to sort of mention or talk about or brag about before we part ways?
Yeah, I guess, all of our music has always been all free. So if you just go to the catscanwebsite.com, you can see Yucca Mountain, which was our big rock masterpiece that we've been working on, kind of working towards our whole career. And then if you want something a little bit more emotional and a little bit more direct, we have this new EP out called Funny Dog Picture. And that has this Safe to Dance in the Dark and 2 other, I think, kind of different for us songs. So that it's all there. Yeah.
You're also on Bandcamp as well, aren't you?
That's right. Yeah. In fact, if you go to the Catscan website, it just takes you to Bandcamp. So there's no other website. But we're also on, Spotify and all those, Apple Music, anything. If you search us, there's a couple other Catscans out there. So look for that exclamation point, and you'll know you're in the right place.
The reason why I bring up Bandcamp, and this is purely because I'm a snob, is kidding. That was a joke. I'm not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to buy it from Bandcamp as much as I can. I love the Friday thing they're doing.
Yeah.
It's great, and I just try to buy something every time on every Friday. Just look for friends that have music out or other locals that are interesting.
Totally. The reason, I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Bandcamp platform, it is originally created by musicians for musicians to benefit musicians. So, for all of my music, personally, I do a pay what you feel is fair type basis. So people can pay as much as they want or as little as they like or however they can afford. And, a majority of the money, if not all, especially on Fridays, goes directly to the musicians as opposed to the, normal 0.006 cents per play. Is it that much? I don't even know.
I think it's less.
0.0006 cents
Uh-huh.
that a lot of the streaming platforms give their artists. Not to throw shade, just saying. Bandcamp's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mason. I really, really appreciate your light and love. And I'm gonna try. We'll see how this goes because I've never done this on YouTube before, but I would like to try and see if we can play this song for everybody.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sunset.
Well, thanks for having me too.
Of course. This is awesome. Okay, so this is the Bandcamp page for Catscan ! And this is Safe to Dance in the Dark.
as a walk in the park, safe for me to disembark, safe to dance in the dark. I am free, free as I wanna be. No one's gonna judge me, no one's gonna even see. I can move and really feel the groove. Damn, that move is so smooth. Free to feel my own truth. And it's safe, safe as a walk in the park. Safe for me to disembark. Safe to dance in the dark. Safe, safe as a walk in the park. Safe for me to disembark. Safe to dance in the dark. Let's go left and right, up all night from the start. We then do it again from the left to the right. We stay up all night from the start to the end till we do it again. Yeah. And it's safe, safe as a walk in the park. Safe for me to disembark. Safe to dance in the dark. And it's safe, safe as a walk in the park. Safe for me to disembark. Safe to dance in the dark. Safe, safe as a walk in the park. Safe for me to disembark. Safe to dance in the dark.
And the crowd goes wild. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for playing it. Yeah.
Of course. This is the joys of the internet. I love
Yeah.
it. No, I've been grooving to that for the last 2 days. It's great. I also want to add, like obviously the David Bowie influence is there, but I also want to add that I'm really the chorus reminds me somewhat, and don't be offended by this, I hope, of Pink Floyd.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
I mean, they're a little bit quirky, but there's the harmonies, and I love it. I love it. So no, thank you very much for sharing your story and your song and the story behind the song and showing up. And for anybody who's watching right now, obviously go and check out on Bandcamp, Catscan with an exclamation point. Their album came out, Yucca Mountain, Yucca.
I think it's Yucca Mountain, out of Yucca Mountain. I don't know.
Mountain,
Yeah.
it came out in December, and they've got music everywhere. Do we have you on social media?
Yes, we're on Facebook. Yeah, and Instagram. Instagram's a good one.
So what's your
We're not on. Oh, it's Catscan Boys. Catscan Boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Be good, be safe. Thank you for voting in this last election. And if you're interested in learning how to write your own song, send me a message and we can look at working together as well. Because of course, this whole series of how the songs that changed my life is all about songwriters from around the world. Today is from Virginia. Tomorrow, who knows? But it's all about these dope songwriters showing up and showing their strength and vulnerability and their magical superpowers of songwriting. So thank you again. You've been awesome. Be good, be kind. Spread love like it's going out of fashion, and please don't forget to call your mum.